We're Booze Radly, and you're watching Beyond the Static.
We are here with Booze Radly from Philadelphia. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, guys?
I'm Alex. I play guitar and sing in Booze Radly.
I'm Vince. I also play guitar and drink a lot of coffee.
And that's Finn. He bites you randomly and then runs away.
Oh, just like most cats.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
So let me ask you first of all, the name. I get the reference. Like, how did you guys come up with settle on that name? And is there any significance other than To Kill a Mockingbird?
Uh, I was thinking about this the other day. I've never really been good with band names. Like, you always pick something you think is really funny at the time, and then like 10 years later, you're like, this is dumb as hell. But yeah, I mean, we did kick around changing it at one point and then just didn't because it was already catchy enough, I guess. But
My vote was for Tequila
yeah, we were
Mockingbird,
gonna go
but
with Tequila Mockingbird, which is now actually another band that we're friends with on Twitter. But we chose not to do it because I saw that like in Miami, there's like a taco place called Tequila Mockingbird.
there's also like a million bars
Yeah.
named that.
So then our drummer Pete was just like, "What about Booze Radly?" And I was like, "That's actually dumber and funnier, so let's do it."
Right, is that like a favorite book of you guys or something?
What was that?
Is that like a favorite book of you guys or something?
Absolutely not. I can barely remember it. It's like one of those books that you skip in English class. I mean, I remember the general story Scout and all that.
I like it a lot, but it's been a few years since I read it.
She then made the like more racist one after that too, right? Like
what?
Like Senile Harper Lee had her book released against her will, and it was like Atticus Finch becomes MAGA or something.
Oh, I have no idea. That's awful. I hope that's not
that sounds
tarnished her legacy with it, but it wasn't. She was dead anyway, so
yeah, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, shit.
All right, so let's start. Guys just released an album, Lose Badly. Talk about the album a little bit. Like, what was the writing process for it? How did it all come together? Any interesting anecdotes?
So we have like probably like I was looking at the other day. I would say like 7 or 8 like finished songs that we started working on for an album like early 2020, probably around like April, May 2020. And then like, the pandemic locked us all in, so we just kept working on stuff.
So now we have like
weekend.
35
Yeah,
songs.
Yeah, we have like I joked that we should just release a double LP, and everyone in the band said absolutely not, you're an idiot. And I was like, fine, 30 individual singles it is. Like but
that would actually be very fun.
That'd be funny too, you just never stop like every other week or something. But no, so we kind of like settled on a theme for our album, and we're still like plucking away at it, but we had a handful of other songs that didn't really fit any specific theme, and they were written long enough and they kind of had their own vibe separate of the album stuff that we're working on, and we wanted to put something out in between because we knew the album was going to take us a while. So that's kind of what drug it together, and then the theme sort of came into focus, and then I wrote the song Unlearning Sadness to fill it out because we were like 5 songs is a little light for an EP. So, but then it kind of fit the theme too because it's like, it's about dealing with loss and growing up about it,
Growing pain.
Yeah, losing and getting over it, because that's really your only option.
Yeah, I guess so. That's very true. I did see that in one of the articles you sent me that you had mentioned going with a more focused EP and having like fewer songs but like more polished songs. And I think it's funny because when I was, I used to hear a lot of albums and just be like, yeah, this should have been an EP. like a band would have like 6 awesome songs and then 5 songs that are just like fillers. Like why like just make it an EP. Like I was been like calling for that since like early 2000s. But so I'm kind of glad the industry is going that way. How did you guys decide? Like, I don't know, like how did you decide like if that was the way you're gonna go and like what songs had to stay and which songs had to go? Or like as you called it, I think it said trim the fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we actually even cut another song, which I pitched out to Dylan. Maybe if we did like a tape run in a different country or something, we would include it just for that audience or whatever. Because it was like a weird one. It kind of came out against me sounding, and like it was just so like all of us weren't up to speed on it that we're just like, we're good, let's cut it here. Like,
Yeah.
but it is a tough one. Like,
I don't think any of us were ready to do a whole full album
yeah, I
again
mean,
yet.
I think we had the songs for it.
Yeah.
That would have been 10 solid songs or whatever, but I think giving those songs more attention and time is also good. But we had like, we had the itch, and for whatever reason, somewhere in the middle of the pandemic, it was weird. You think like everyone's like, well, it's like when everyone was like, oh, Trump's elected, there's going to be a resurgence in punk rock music, and like everyone was just too depressed to do anything actually. But but for whatever reason, at one point when we were all like locked up in there, we just had a ton of ideas just flowing. So we sketched out a bunch of stuff. I recorded a bunch of the guitar stuff completely cross-faded and didn't remember that I wrote it. I mean, I in the process of working on it, at one point I fell asleep in Vince's room, which was the impromptu studio, tripping on LSD, which that doesn't happen very often, that's a rare case when you fall asleep on acid. But yeah, I mean, we also were like listening to we were going a little cabin fever crazy, like listening to Steely Dan and just playing board games and getting wasted 5 days a week. Like it was a weird time, but I think, some of these songs, like they definitely, I don't know if they have a necessary like theme overall, but they definitely have a feel to it, which was like kind of like that sort of nervous energy kind of sensibility, I guess.
Yeah.
Which was palpable for everybody. Me taking the bus when like no one's on it, and you're going to work and everybody's like locked in their house.
I think too, because each song's like wildly different stylistically. We were just like, all right, well, fuck it, we're gonna try everything.
Whichever one people like the most is what kind of music we play now, right? Like that was
basically
that was sort of the idea. But it was like we joked about it being like a sampler of what kind of stuff we were capable of doing.
Yeah, definitely.
But
or like a sampling of what's to come.
Yeah, I don't think that was a conscious idea, but when it finished up and we were like sequencing it, I was like, oh, we got like, the only thing we're missing is like a ska song if we wanted to stay hip or whatever. But everything else we kind of just sort of came naturally. And one song was actually first tracked in 2016. So like there was no way it was consciously decided.
If we do a ska song, we gotta get Joe on that.
True.
Yeah, I did notice that, and that was something I was gonna ask you about. You actually already answered, like whether there was a common theme, because like I did find like the album, like it's like, these guys are all over the place. But you did say in the email that like you did mention like there's several different genres that you guys cross, and you stayed true to that. The cinematic quotes, I think, on a lot of those songs was a very nice touch. Where did you find those? Like, what is there one specific movie or just?
They're from a bunch of different things. The one at the beginning of Surf John, we call it Surf John.
Yeah, one of the songs was just called Surf John for like.
I can't remember what we actually.
Up till like 6 weeks before it was like finalized in the mix. We're like, oh yeah, it has a name now. But
But the sample at the beginning of that was from Eddie and the Cruisers, because Dylan watched that and really is a big fan of Bruce
I've never even
Springsteen.
seen it, but the quote's still as funny as
Yeah,
hell.
the quote that's like about I paid all this money. I think all I got was a bunch of
weird sounds. Yeah, that one's good.
Dylan's like a huge fan of The Boss, and that's like that movie is like loosely about Bruce Springsteen and his band and like their whole thing. And that was just a really funny quote that he saw or that they saw in that and like sent me. So you got that. I got a Dragon Ball Super one in there somewhere. That's at the end of well, I can't remember any of our song names. We just played
Dragon Ball Super's in Mission of Infirmity.
Yeah, AOE. And what else we got? We got a Peep Show quote on.
Yeah, so I actually got a DM from a notable emo band frontman saying, my hat's off to you for those Peep Show quotes.
Yeah, you said that.
I was like, this is awesome. But no, I mean, Peep Show's intimately tied to my extended depressive episodes. So like I fell in love with it when I was like hella like depressed alone in England with no family or friends around, just watching it in a bunk bed on my MacBook. And my friends all being like, what's wrong with you? Why are you watching this like cringe porn? I was like, but we actually had like 2 or 3 other quotes from that show to put in there, and it was down to the wire, so we cut them. But
well, it was just it would have been too much.
It also would have been very like, oh, this is a Peep Show song, which definitely is.
What other samples do we put? There's another one, isn't there, that we put on there? There's some other samples.
Oh, the Joe Biden one too.
Oh yeah.
I was like Rock Against Bush, but for Joe Biden, I don't know. Fuck it, like, but just get it done. But that quote actually has stuck in my mind for a long time.
Yeah, it's haunting.
Just being like, fuck you. You don't have any real problems. I'm an old man yelling at the cloud. Like,
yeah.
So
such a
I voted for him, but he's still a prick. So fuck him. I don't know.
It's just a very tone deaf quote.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of representative of how our generation is viewed by everyone else who's not in it, pretty much. I feel anyway.
Yeah.
Millennials killed affording to retire. Like, whoops, sorry about that, guys. Like, I don't know, but
and also that killed that.
Yeah, right. It was your policies and shit. But I found that I cut that quote right around the time that Roe v. Wade was overturned by the Dobbs decision, and we used it earlier for a fundraising comp or whatever. But it just blew my mind that he's like, women were treated as second-class citizens, and then you have like literally running the clock back on
next
that.
Week, cut the quote out.
Like, thanks for fixing the problem, Grandpa. You didn't do it. Go fuck yourself.
That's actually a great segue, because I saw that you guys were talking about being involved in a lot of compilations during COVID, and that's how you stayed active and like with your social media presence in Discord. So like, how did you get hooked up with those, and like just go into a little bit of that and how you managed to keep everything moving, because I know a lot of bands couldn't keep it going, and now that like it seems like the content, it's all about content now, and getting your name out there. Like, how did you keep it interesting, I guess?
I feel like that's always been kind of closely tied to like what we've done as a band. It's like we've always contributed songs to compilations for charities and stuff. So like during the pandemic, a lot of people just kind of came to us and they're like, hey, can you throw a song on this? And Dylan was just like, yeah, right at one after another. Like,
it was a say yes first, ask the band later. For a while, but
so
we it kept us active.
And they all ended up being like mostly ended up being covers for different compilation themes.
We didn't practice for 2 years, but we did learn a bunch of covers. So. Interesting. But
actually, we're gonna release those relatively soon, all as a compiled compilation of all of the compilation of the compilation songs.
We might want to
of all of the covers that we did.
Might want to form an LLC first and then release it through that, so that can just go under if we get sued for it.
You will get sued for it.
I mean, we'll just have it taken down probably. I don't know.
No, you can license it.
Cover licenses are so fucking annoying. Pardon my French. I don't know if you're.
You've already said fuck
Did
like
I?
a million
All right,
times.
whatever. Sorry.
Yeah. Now we're all adults here. I'll just
Okay.
put the explicit wording on the all the episodes.
Oh yeah, no, we have
Yeah,
like
sorry, we have sailor
yeah,
mouths.
we have like 6 or 7. We live in Philly. What are you gonna do? But
Hey, me
we
too.
got
I'm
6 or
not even
7
gonna lie.
covers for the comp. So
Yeah.
hopefully in the next few months, just stuff to keep keep us going too, and keep us interested with being on the internet at all.
It also gives us this time
Yeah.
to put together more music because
True.
they're already done for the most part.
Yeah.
Just kind of
I mean, there's some cool covers on there, like the Captain We're Sinking cover.
yeah, which is super
Yeah.
cool because they just got back together too.
Yeah.
So that was even cooler.
And like a B-side from our album, Death Cab cover, that was like a deep cut from their stuff that I liked. And I was kind of unhappy with it when it came out, so I was kind of glad we got to touch it up again.
Yeah, and I was thinking of adding one more to it too to top it off because I've been wanting to do it for a while. A cover of Stonehands by
Yeah,
Balance,
that'd be cool.
and now they
Now
just
they're back,
announced
right?
that they're back together too. So that
Ride
would be
the
cool.
Algo, right? Crush the Algo, dude, with the no, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it was a weird time to be a band for sure. And I just saw someone yesterday from a band that didn't make it through COVID, and I was just like, man, that sucks. Like
Yeah,
a couple bands I
a
know
lot of
didn't
bands fell off during.
oh, you might
COVID.
get married or some shit, who knows? Like,
I mean, even just financial,
yeah,
other
trim the fat
streams.
of your life kind of when shit gets serious. So.
You know, it's ironic you're talking about bands falling apart. Well, for me personally, because of COVID and having all of that time and stuff, I was actually able to put together a project that I've always been wanting to do. And like I found that having all of that time and to instead of like trying to squeeze it in between like work and everything else, it just kind of opened up all kinds of opportunities for like, did you guys find that like writing was easier as a band because you had more time on your hands?
I mean, not necessarily.
No.
I don't think so, but it did give. I personally did have more time to explore more into like home recording versus like we used to have a studio.
Yeah.
And learning how to like really
We
do
got rid
that
of the studio
with,
and the
like,
recording got better, which is funny. Like,
Yeah.
but that's mostly you're doing. So
just learning like the ins and outs of like modern guitar recording at home with like amp sims. Really delved down that rabbit hole. Learned about how to incorporate that into our writing workflow, and then we've been using a shared like G drive to send back and forth stems and song parts to each other. So we just kind of like basically like postal service, but just would send a part of the song to the next person. They'd add something, send it back.
and we all live fairly close together now,
Yeah.
but for a while, even, geez, I don't know if that was in the pandemic or what, but at one point, Dylan, our key player, was living in Pittsburgh still and
Yeah.
commuting back to Philly for practice and recording and shit.
That-
So that was
yeah.
rough for them.
Yeah.
But it's we
That
got pretty
drive
good
was
at
fun.
we got pretty good at remote recording, I guess.
Yeah.
Vince and I lived together for a while and are insomniacs, so like we were able to push through a lot of it.
Yeah.
I do think one of the things I think that gets like maybe overstated by people is like it might be like a kind of person thing or something, I don't know, but like for me, I was finding it super hard to find inspiration to write about because nothing was happening. It was like just so every day was the same. It was like kind of devoid of the interactions you have in life normally. And like, so I just didn't know what to write music about. I was in like a steady relationship, nothing was changing. The world was appearingly getting worse, like visually almost, but that wasn't exactly inspiring me to be motivated, I guess. But some people just took to the races and learned all kinds of stuff and got a lot more work done than we did. I just tried to, my project for myself was force myself to listen to more music that I don't normally listen to. So force myself to get inspired and write a bunch of dad rock riffs and stuff. So
Yeah.
Did you
I guess I double
Well,
down to like recording. Like I do also like mixing, production, recording, tracking stuff for other
Yeah,
friends, bands, and for
people should pay Vince to
stuff.
mix their stuff. Because he's good at it. So
did you record in this album?
Yeah,
Or where did you guys do it? Oh, you guys did
yeah,
it yourselves?
mostly in here.
yeah,
Well, some of it at the old house too, but
Yeah.
same equipment pretty much.
yeah.
And then we did
Nice.
drums at our friend's studio in Bethlehem, which is where we've always gone for our drums.
Yeah, Shards.
Shards studio
That's
in
the-
Bethlehem.
that's
Matt
the
Mulvaney.
best.
Yeah. They have an amazing like mechanics garage that they converted into a studio, and it just sounds awesome for drums. So
Yeah, it's
Can't-
huge sounding.
fair prices, good equipment, great at what they do. So
Yeah,
Rightfully-
that's the best.
rightfully earning the respect that he deserves for sure. But yeah, so we always track drums and then do all the guitars and stuff at home usually.
Yep, and then mix and master 'em. That part takes forever.
Yeah. We did switch up the vocal recording a little bit this time around, and I mean, I was pretty bummed out with the outcome of the album's vocals, but also like I just didn't perform as well as I would have liked. And then so that I did more takes and everything this time around. We used vocal line, which helped a lot for like matching up double tracks, and I got a just a decent entry level blue microphone, and that seemed to just add a lot to it as well. So
Yeah,
recording tips if anyone's interested.
Yeah, I feel like everybody goes through that too, like listening back and being like, oh, I could have done this, or I should change that. But like there comes a point where you just have to be like, fuck it, I'm not messing with it anymore.
Yeah.
Like this
Oh, yeah.
this is gonna be what it's gonna be.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's still when I go back and listen to the album, I'm like, okay, that's like the sound for that time and it sounds cool, but we used an SM57 for most of the vocals, and I felt like that plus manually aligning all the doubles compared to using like vocal line, which to me is a pretty innocuous program, but
yeah,
Yeah.
it just makes editing
Yeah.
quicker.
pretty much so. And it,
Yeah.
you can tell like the vocals sound a lot better this time around. So
I didn't know if that was like a stylistic choice because I noticed that like I wouldn't say they were bad. They were just sounded like distant, and I thought like it worked for it. It was just a stylistic choice that you guys went with.
yeah, I mean, we've always kind of had the pursuit of seeing like how, I don't know if I want to say poppy but like how professional we can make our recording sound, but like ourselves. That's because we both also went to school for media degrees, which are generally bullshit outside of like training you to do this kind of stuff. So, but Vince is a lot more
I actually
qualified.
use
Yeah.
it like every day.
Yeah.
I went to school for music production as well.
Yeah.
So
Work.
yeah, kind of
Well,
how
the home studio is amazing now. So
Yeah, I mean that
Yeah.
that really changed drastically during the pandemic for sure. For guitar and bass recording at home, it's like
yeah, all the
you
drums.
could get studio quality sound, no problem. Just an amp sim, some IRs. Like that's a rabbit hole that I really delved
impulse
down.
responses.
Like
The drums on all of our covers and a lot of the compilation tracks are all done with a Roland electric kit that Vince remapped all the MIDI
yeah,
for real drum
into like
samples. Yeah.
samples from Pete's actual kit, and then
So we faked it, but it worked really well. So
yeah for the cover ones.
so that'll be fun.
Because that's the only way we could send drum
Yeah.
recordings back and forth during the pandemic. That because we couldn't, book studio time or anything.
Yeah, and
so
like I
it's
don't
like,
trust
well-
Pete to mic his whole kit up and send us like he couldn't play it either.
He couldn't do it in his apartment because he has a neighbor now.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it was cool. It was a neat learning experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that I knew how to do already. I just got better and
What did
quicker
you
at it.
use? You used the what
Um,
plugin was that?
Slate drums,
Slate. That's
and
right.
Trigger, and I forget the other one.
Well, you can judge it when it comes out and tell us if it was good.
well,
I
let me know
I
when
think
the
they're
second.
pretty much indistinguishable from
the real
like
thing.
him actually playing it because I used his actual drum kit
Yeah.
samples.
And they recorded at Shards. So.
Yeah, they're recorded at Shards, so it's does a pretty good
Next
job.
time we'll have an AI do it, and it'll just use the
Oh
sample.
my god, please! I don't. Okay,
Yeah,
I wasn't
wish the song for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't
Google,
gonna-
yeah.
ask about that at all. This wasn't something that I thought about, but now that you bring it up, um, do you think that AI is going to fit into any part of your, whether it be your production or any bit of like your promotions or anything like that? Do you have any thoughts on how like DIY musicians could or should use AI going forward?
Um, I mean, make post art in a pinch.
Yeah, that and make it look like shit too. It's,
Oh
can't
my
handle
God,
text for the hell anyway.
it's
But
so bad at
yeah,
text.
it's really bad at text. But no, I mean, so I'm of the opinion that, fearing technology displacing you is like a rational feeling to have, but like it's not gonna fix it. So just
Yeah.
fucking buckle up, right? Like, but
Also, I don't see anything in like the short term that's going to replace in our
I can see
workflow
doing drum
in the way
triggers
that
and
we
stuff.
write or record anything. But I don't.
I mean, vocal line is already kind of like an AI, like link.
Not really.
It's processing it more so, but
It's just looking at transients
yeah,
and lining it up.
yeah. So no, not real. I mean,
I
I've
don't
always been
see.
a Luddite kind of purist, pushing Vince the opposite direction and then being wrong every time. Vince had to convince me to get a tuning pedal, so like that's where my position is.
Oh
Now
wow.
now I have a pedal board, and vocal pedal, so he's broken me on that. I was an anti-amp simulation for the longest time, and then he showed me the neural Soldano amp, and I was like, "Fuck, this is great."
That shit rules, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be the old curmudgeon complaining about everything, and I won't be. So
Yeah, I don't think it'll change much about the way we do things, but I don't foresee any like obvious tools that would help in the short term, but maybe, I don't know.
we don't use auto tune. We got into
Yeah.
I got into that on Twitter because of the robotic Tom DeLonge Coachella performance.
Yeah.
I thought, hey, here's a chance for me to kick up dust for no reason and
I
talk
mean, I
about
think
it.
autotune's cool and fine, but I think I like it as a stylistic effect, not
Yeah.
as like a
That's what a lot of people say.
masking.
It's like just as a style, not a band-aid. But
Yeah.
fuck it. I mean, people use band-aids, so like, it's like,
Good Band-Aid comes in handy.
Who cares, right? But,
That's
um,
fair.
yeah. I mean, it will be funny. Like, I did think it'd be pretty funny to like, I don't know. This is a scary thought, but like, they have stuff out now that you can like, I think it's just API access only, but you can like train an AI on your own voice if you wanted to.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was
It's
like,
a
we have
deep fake
enough
stuff.
vocal tracks for that I could like have it write a song for me, but I like I'm
We
just
should
like
write a
afraid
song
of the
that's
government,
like
so I
that we
don't.
use AI purposely to write a song like Fitter, Happier,
Yeah,
the
right.
Radiohead.
I just don't
song.
want to give the CIA
That would be
access to
funny.
my voice for when they use it to like fake a terrorist attack or something.
Oh wow.
That's those are the kind of normal thoughts I have. So.
Yeah. So we got about 10 minutes left. I saw in the Get Alternative article. They use a very I was very intrigued by the phrase existential crisis punk. What does that mean to you?
Means living with that existential dread every day. Means every day is a Sisyphean task.
Yeah.
To roll that boulder up the hill and get crushed by the end of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's that.
I
I mean,
I think of this a lot. Like I admire people that can like smoke a lot of weed and like go to the grocery store. But when I do it, I start like thinking about how much I've disappointed my parents, if I'm a good boyfriend, am I gonna get fired at work? Like what problems are heading my way? That's all I can think about. And like there's that sense that like, it's like a suffocating vacuum that pulls all the air out of the room. And like definitely not I think maybe more for me than for the listener. I try to tap into that feeling when we're working on music because like
yeah,
it's the only way to get it
often
out
try to
without
tap
going
into
like
that too.
I don't
It's
want to
very
like
cathartic.
scream on the subway or something instead, so I might as well do it
Yeah,
with a guitar.
it's a cathartic, therapeutic release of that energy to in a positive way. At least I think it's a positive way.
Yeah, I mean, depends if you're like talking about being an actual adult with responsibility.
I
But
like go gently.
yeah, right. Well, that's the thing is like I don't want to have main character syndrome, but you only have one life, so might as well live
Right.
it.
Did anybody ever tell you that your white guy emo video reminds him of a Devo video?
No, but hell yes.
I saw someone
yeah.
making it. I was like, yo, this is kind of like Demo.
Here's some fun trivia. Vince slept through the shoot for the actual performance. So after the fact, we had to we shot a scene where he passes out drunk at the bar because he did eventually wake up. So we met up with him, did shots at the bar and Dylan did a
We were
shot
like,
of
what would
water.
be a funny idea if
Yeah.
we just did the
That'll
video?
explain why he's not in the performance. So, and it came out pretty funny. And those are just painter bunny suits that I got at work, and I was like, pandemic jumpsuit. It makes sense. Who cares? Like, and we shot it with like a fucking Sony Handycam from 2004 that
Which
just
I
only
like
shoots in
the-
green, yellow color.
Yeah, no, that's sick. I like that part of it.
It's MySpace core, I guess.
It's like weird Sony
But I would
color
love,
profile.
yeah, I mean, man, those Depot hats kick ass. So
Yeah.
I don't know anything else about them other than like
I like-
uncontrollable urge of kids.
So,
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That I definitely thought that while we were making it too.
nice. One more thing. First of all, I think everybody should know that you guys have a DIY comrades playlist that I saw. Very cool. Nice touch adding the descriptions. I saw you have Sweet Pill on there. My homie
Oh, yeah.
Sean
He's
is
a
in that
homie.
band.
Best favorite band, sure, yeah.
I just
Yeah.
saw Jason last night.
Nice.
He's at the Monkey Club.
Yeah, they rule.
So
Yeah, they're about to go with for like 6 weeks or something.
nice.
Godspeed.
Dude, like I said, I've known Sean since he was like 13 and I was really
Nice.
young. And yeah, that kid they always had so much
They're
talent.
always crushing it. I'm
Yeah.
like, Jason's always on the move too. So he's
Yeah, I
always
can't live
putting
like
up.
that.
He's like always putting up all the shows at the Yuki Club and stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's crushing it.
Yeah.
They're all crushing it.
So
Philadelphia, baby.
before we wrap it up, why don't you tell everybody where they can find not only that playlist, but what you guys got coming up as far as like shows or any other releases, where they can find you online, anything you think that the world needs to know about Booze Radly.
We have a bunch of shows coming
Yeah.
up.
Oh yeah, we have a note
You
app.
come
app,
tee
yeah.
off with us on
Twist
Tuesday.
off, you mean, right? So,
Twist off. We're playing a show. The next show we have is Tuesday night at the Tin Can Bar, which
Yeah.
is in Port Richmond here in Philly.
Richmond.
Which
We're
we're very
playing
excited for.
Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Here, I'll pull up the
The
list.
22nd, we're playing Bethlehem, Pennsylvania on 420.
At
and
the
then
Ice
there's-
House.
Yeah, at the Ice House, which is the place where Dylan and I played our worst show we've ever played in a previous band. Literally a crowd of 0 people, not even anyone running
Wow,
the show.
that's pretty rough.
It was awesome. It ruled. Never played such a stupid show in my life.
We've got the Pilger Brewing
Oh
in
yeah, that's the
Pottsville.
Pottsville
That's
one. The
422.
skate park one should be pretty cool. That's not totally confirmed, but
That's 5-5 at
Yeah, in
Freedom
Trenton.
Skate Park in Trenton. That's not confirmed yet, but that
Yeah.
one's most likely.
yeah.
Then we've got a Stonehouse Studios Festival in Jersey on 6/4. We've got a show at Luigi's Mansion in West Philly on 6/24. We've got a show in the Grape Room in Manayunk in
I'm
Philly
learning all this right now too.
on 7/14. And then
yeah, we
we
already
have
did that
one
one.
more show that's on our radar for August 6th.
Oh yeah, that one's
at
don't,
Old
don't,
Post
don't,
22.
What? That one's a secret. Don't
Oh.
say it yet. But I mean,
Oh.
don't worry about it. Never mind.
Too late.
Yeah. No, that one may or may not be confirmed, but if it is, the other bands are.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say that
Yeah.
one's not confirmed, but
Yeah.
it's
But then also, yeah, we have a cover compilation coming out
sometimes.
whenever it's done. And then I think the compilation sometime this year, we have a set of live tracks that we're trying to eventually tie up. And then I'm hoping that we go into track for drums early next year for our second album.
Yeah. We also were throwing out the idea
Oh
of,
yes,
because it's coming up on 10 years of our original EP, of we're tossing around the idea amongst ourselves, nothing confirmed yet, but we're thinking of re-recording the entire EP
the
because
first EP.
since Dylan has joined the band, those songs are like very
And you said,
different
yeah.
and than they were in that form. And we still play some of them live
Yeah.
regularly. So
And there's also a cut track from that we could rework as well.
yeah.
So-
So we're tossing around the idea of maybe like retracking that
We gotta
entirely.
celebrate 10 years somehow, so
Yeah.
we'll have fun with
Yeah.
that.
That's
the-
awesome that you guys have been.
Like
So that's awesome that you guys have been together for 10 years.
Yeah, it's great. And Dylan and I,
Yeah.
we've all been friends probably for close to 20 at this point. So
I'm sorry. You were saying something. I feel like I cut you off.
I forget what it was anyway. But yeah, no, it's been a fun 10 years for sure. And we've changed a lot through that time.
Oh yeah, I know what I was gonna say.
So
I was
is the
gonna say
world,
the 10
though.
years, like the novelty of it and the fun of it, and also just the fact that like
It sounds
it's
different.
completely different. They've been reworked since Dylan's been in the band, and like it would do justice to have recorded versions with
Yeah.
Dylan on all of the songs.
We also are thinking maybe about, I know I'm getting into George Lucas territory, but about like remixing.
Oh no, you're trying to make Greedo shoot first.
Yeah, I'm batting that weird boat or job of the Hutt step over scene. But yeah, we're thinking about remixing and mastering the album so that it sounds a little better now that we have like vocal line to match doubles up and stuff. So
Also,
if we ever cross that bridge, maybe we'll wait for the 10 year of that. 2029, look out for it.
Nice.
Think
Very
that-
cool.
We're all alive by then. If the world exists even, who knows? Anyway,
it'll just be really hot.
There's that existential dread again.
yeah. All right.
It never goes away.
So
But yeah,
before we wrap it up a little bit, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you on the socials online and all of that fun stuff?
I got this.
All
You
right.
can find us at linktr.ee/Booze Radly, and it's spelled Radly, no E. Also not Booze Rally. That one's new.
That's the new one.
Also
No
not
one ever
Blues,
spells their name right.
Blues Radly would be cool, but it's also still not our band. Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. We're on Apple
TikTok.
Music.
Tumblr.
Yeah, you look. Yeah, we're on
YouTube.
TikTok as Zoom Radly because I thought that was funny because we're all locked inside at the time.
Oh yeah, that's pretty funny.
And also Zoomers use TikTok, not me. But yeah, it's a
TikTok's
double
pretty
entendre. But also if you go to our Bandcamp, there's more stuff on there than is on the streaming services, just because we're lazy. So maybe eventually it'll be on the streaming services. But
I think part of it too is before we had
the distributor
The distro
stuff's been a
down.
nightmare too. So
yeah.
don't release music on the internet. It makes you zero money and gives you mega headache. I don't know. Good English speaking. But yeah, anyway, that's it. We're Booze Radly. Fuck you.
Mean.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Yeah.
But
By the
Fuck
way,
you,
that
Dave.
was
Not you
that-
personally, but everyone on Twitter and everyone else. So,
yeah.
you come that
That-
Twitter? Oh yeah, fuck Elon actually.
By the way, that's not Dwayne, the host of Beyond the Static, saying that.
okay, good.
All right, guys. Yo, thank you so much for being here and for
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Thanks so much.
This was fun.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And hopefully I'll see you around the city sometime. Try to come out to a show.
Yeah,
that'd be
we'll
awesome.
we'll have some more to set up too in Philly for sure. Those kind of come about randomly when
Yeah.
people are like, "We're touring. Can you play our horrible show that's gonna suck?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we'll do it. We're on it." Like, but
Man, you're really punching down today.
they're always better than I expect. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm always like, "Damn, I Wednesday or a Tuesday," and then it ends up being fun, and I'm like, "I gotta stop being so bitter and weird."
Yeah.
Like,
For real.
anyway, but yeah, hopefully you see one that you like coming out too. So.
Awesome. Thank you.